Okay, brother. Shalom. Shalom. This is Betty Erica Lady Smooth, also known as Lady Yahudith. Um, Lady Betty Erica Lady Yahudith, also known as Lady Smooth. Daughter of the Most High, Daughter of the Most High Ministries. Now this is part 2 to the first video that I am doing. It's called The Important Role of the Priest, the Levite Priesthood, as well as money being the root cause to all evil. Okay, this is part 2. And I had to take a little break because I had to get some artifacts here, some things here. Okay, so the Levite priest, okay, that's who we're talking about. We're talking about these men right here. The priest. Part of the priesthood, okay? That still lives to this day. And our roots, okay? The priest. Okay? Now, because the Levites, they stretch from bloodline to bloodline, just as well as all the 12 scattered tribes. The hidden ones are still here, okay? Psalms 98. Psalms 83. Now, okay, and I'm gonna go because I've stopped here at Deuteronomy 18, verse 1, and I'm reading verse 1 through 14. Now I'm going to go through verse 6. And if a Levite come from any of your gates out of Yashael, where he sojourner, and come with all his desires of his mind unto the place which Ahiah shall choose, then he shall minister in the name of Ahiah Eloheinu, as all his brethren, the Levite, do, which stand there before Ahiah. They shall have like portions to eat, beside which comes of the sale of his paterami, Patrimony. I have to look that up. When you are come into the land which Ahiah gives you, you shall not learn to do after the abominations of those nations. There shall not be found among you to make his son or daughter to pass through the fire, or that uses divination, or one that practice sorcery, or an enchanter, or a witch, or a charmer, or a consulter with familiar spirits, or a wizard. Okay? And I'm going to go into why I'm reading this. Or a Nokram sayer. For all that do these things are an abomination unto Yah. And because of these abominations, Yahuwah Eloheinu drives them out from before you. You shall be perfect with Yahuwah Eloheinu. For these nations which you shall possess hearken unto sorcerers and unto diviners. But as you, Ahiah Eloheinu, has not suffered you to do so, to do. Now, the Lord is telling them, the priest, the Levite priest, and all of the 12 tribes of Yashael, do not do these things as the other nations do, okay? They seek their inheritance, or not even inheritance, I want to say their wealth, through sorcery, okay? Through sorcery. Now, why am I saying this in comparisons to money being the root cause of all wickedness? Why? Okay? Because When you depend on this world, when you depend on it, this is where it's coming from. Okay? Every dollar that has been touched has some kind of wicked behind it. Okay? Something behind it has been done in secrecy. Okay? Whether if it's a person that touched it that sold some drugs, whether if it's a person that bought it for drug money, whether it's a person that has prostituted for it, because and you got to pray for these people who are in sin, because they can't help it. They can help it if they know the Lord, but they can't really grasp it because they cannot see the light at the end of the tunnel. They do these things because they feel like this is the only way out and to survive in this world. You know, for instance, you have the music industry, and that's another area where the Lord wants me to prophesy, because I am from the music industry. I have been in the music industry and I still am. But not in that part. I'm in the Lord's music industry. Okay. You have some gospel people who are selling out and have blood sacrifice their peers. And you have these things going on in these industries. Okay. And this is why the Lord said, do not put Deuteronomy 18 verse 10, there shall not be found among you anyone who makes his son or daughter pass through the fire. All of these people who are sacrificing their children, their youngs, just to be famous, just to get money, and they still have to work hard and hard and hard because the enemy does not give up. And then he wants to promote his own agenda. He wants to promote Yashael, mainly a lot of Black Hebrew women, and to nudity, to influence the world into nudity and just basically prostitution at its finest. And saying it's okay. You're a boss. You're a boss. You're a boss. You can look like a stripper in public. You're a boss. That's just the way it go. No, the devil is a lie. And he wants the men to leave the households to, they want to show you the American way now is for all the Hebrew men to date outside of their race and to marry outside of their race. Why? Because they want these men to have their hearts turned from Ahia. They don't want, the devil doesn't want unity within the tribes because the tribes are stronger that way. You have the enemy wants to corrupt ethnic purity, period. He wants to corrupt ethnic purity, as well as he wants to make the men gay and lustful, okay? And all of these things. Excuse my pool pump coming on. It comes on all the time around this time. So, with that being said, this is the connection to the difference between the example of the priesthood, the Levite priests, dependent solely on the Lord. So while the other tribes have had an inheritance, the Lord had allowed them to have an inheritance. But the reason why the Levites depend on the Lord, because they have all of him, not some of him, all of him. They were the only ones that are able to carry the Ark of the Covenant. No one else is allowed to carry the Ark of the Covenant. Okay? Now there has to be a leader out of all the tribes to strengthen the rest of the tribes. So when people see Yashael, aka the Hebrews, in poverty, the Hebrews were supposed to be the leaders always of the priesthood. Always. That's why the devil wants to switch it around and have the men gangbanging and saying, oh, my hood. But really, they're supposed to be repping the priesthood. The women are supposed to be, this is how our women are supposed to be. We're supposed to be representing this. Beauty and righteousness. Queens. We're supposed to be representing righteousness. Okay? They're all beautiful. Natural beauty. But they're not showing any prostitution, boobs, legs, everything. Okay? They're not showing that. And the young boys are supposed to be this way. Not going into gangbanging. They're supposed to be righteous. They're part of the tribes. These are our people. Our identity is being restored. Okay? And shout out to Dante Fortson and We Woke Now for these pictures. Okay? Now, let me go on to say, let me continue 1 second, brothers and sisters. Let me get myself together here. Okay. Now, I want to read First Chronicles chapter 15 verse 2. Wait, well, before I go, let me make sure. Deuteronomy 10, chapter 9. Okay. Yeah, I'll go back to that. Let me go to First Chronicles 15. Chapter 15, verse 2. Okay. Then David said, right here. Then David said, make sure you guys can see. Okay. Then David said, no one out to carry the ark of Elohim but the Levite. For them has Ahiah chosen to carry the ark of the covenant and to minister unto him forever. Forever. They are a forever priest. So who said that they went away? Who said that they went away? So those people down there in the political state that people think is Israel, which are not, the heart is not there for the Lord. It's only about their showboat and their clothes and their status. And it's really about money, because every wickedness that they put into that, every dime that they sow into that community, because that's what it is. It's a stolen identity community. It's a religious community, not a relationship, a religious. The Lord people are not religions. It's DNA in us. It's DNA in Yashael. It's DNA in the Hebrews, in the 12 scattered tribes, period. It's DNA in the Levites to be the priesthood leaders. It's their DNA. Now, why? Every dime that they sow into them, listen very carefully, they take that money to do Yashael wrong. And that's how you know it is the synagogue of Satan for real, for real. Revelation 3:9 and Revelation 2:9. Okay? Now, let me read it again. Then David said, no one ought to carry the ark of Elohim but the Levite. For them has Ahiah chosen to carry the ark of the covenant and minister unto him forever. Verse 3 goes on to say, and David gathered all Yashael together to Jerusalem, to bring up the ark of Ahiah unto its place, which he had prepared for it. It had to be strategically carried into the proper place and into the proper hands that's supposed to carry it. They're not supposed to have the priesthood in any kind of way. They're mixing the priesthood. Those people down there are mixing the priesthood with Babylonian practices and other practices, corrupting the word of Ahiah, corrupting Yesiah. Okay? Now, reason why, every time they put a dime into, every time everybody sow into that community, they're putting a dime into the downfall of Yashael to destroy Yashael. But they can never destroy Yashael because Yashael is coveted by the Most High. Hidden and coveted by the Most High. He knows who the tribes are. He knows the bloodline of the tribes. There's no mistaking and no denying about it. And the reason why I say they put the money into destroying the people, because they use our people as a showboat. They've been doing it for years with the big lip face and to entertain people and to foolishness and to put drugs into our community, to bring down our community, to put more abortion clinics in our community, to keep people in poverty. I have seen an article on Starbucks going to Watts. Starbucks going to Watts. For what? Why are you going to Watts? And then if anybody know California, they knows Watts is next to Compton, and majority of people in Watts are black people in the projects. What are you going to Watts for? They're not going to build them up. They're not going to donate. Why don't y'all just donate to Watts? What you need to go there for? Because I know the owners of Starbucks. We all know who they are. Just like they own every other thing out here. The 13 families. These people who say that they are the people and they are not. Wickedness. Money. Money. It's the financial banking system with them. It's not the heart of the Lord. It's far from the heart of the Lord in righteousness. Keep that in mind. When you put your mouth on a child before they're even born, they're a penis, you're promoting homosexuality on them. And then when people look at everything that they say as far as that place called Israel, they see Tel Aviv, which is all pride, Pride, community, LGBT community, and they see the Dome of the Mosque. The Lord will not share his glory with the Dome of the Mosque. Never, ever. It's the biggest deception ever told. Now, let's get back onto the Levites. So, when you see Yashael and you see that they in poverty and so on and so forth, just know that the blessings of them knowing the Most High comes from the Most High. And they are the examples of the world to be the ones who had to depend on him. Even those who were into prostitution and so on and so forth and selling drugs, the Lord knows which ones' hearts will change and go to him. Okay? So, I want to speak back to the Gentiles again. Okay? The Gentiles who are turning to the Lord and who also were on that TikTok, because I keep seeing all the faces on the TikTok video. And the Lord's going to save them. And the Lord's going to be with them. And he's just saying, hold on. Okay? Hang on and hang tight, okay? Now, let me go to the money being the root to all evil and wickedness. Drugs, sex, idolatry, exploitation, death and dependencies, lies, etc. Every other tribe out of the 12 scattered tribes has an inheritance, okay? The devil is a liar, bankrupting the people before the blessings to cause discourage, okay? So just know, blessings are coming. The blessing is coming. The ultimate blessing is to escape these things that are about to come. The regathering, the AKA second Exodus, okay? First Timothy chapter 6, verse 10 to be. For the love of money is the root of all evil, which will some covet after. They have erred from the faith and pierced themselves through with many sorrows. Okay? Money is the root to all evil. Okay? The root cause. It makes people kill one another. It makes people do all sorts of things. But when you depend on the Most High, He is your ultimate blessing. Your ultimate blessing.